Welcome to the Holistic Living Podcast, my beautiful friends. You can expect my uncensored, real, and honest thoughts on a wide variety of health topics. If you love to learn on ways to improve your health, your life, your mindset, your emotions, and everything in between in a natural way, you are in the right place, and I am so excited to have you here. Hey, it is the 40th episode of the Holistic Living Podcast. I have been having the best time recording these. I hope you guys have been enjoying each and every episode. I do take topic requests through my Instagram and my social media. So if there's ever something you want me to touch on holistically, get my opinion and my take on any topic, make sure you let me know. Today, I wanted to talk about Instagram, actually, how difficult it is for holistic practitioners to truly share their voice and their opinions and content. This might seem like a boring topic, but it's so relevant and something I've wanted to touch on for so long and just haven't, because I wasn't sure if it's something that you guys actually care to hear about. But I wanted to explain on my end why I'm not sharing content like I used to, and also why there's not as much in-depth content anymore. So I have been on social media for 9 years now. I was one of the main people to hop onto Instagram in the first few years of its life. At least when it started to actually become a platform for health and things like that. And I actually started off on YouTube. So I started YouTube 11 years ago. And it was great at the time. And then it started to get frustrating because every time I would post a video or anything like that, really any content, I started to get demonetized. I would start to get emails saying your channel is going to be banned or blocked for 30 days. People won't be able to find your content or search your page. I would start to get unsubscribes and 1,000 or 2,000 within a day, within a few minutes actually. So it was obviously not to do with people unsubscribing, but things behind the scenes. And anytime I would share a holistic video with a topic of cancer or big pharma or GMO or anything like that, I would just have that video taken down within minutes saying it goes against community guidelines. So it started to become an issue for me over on YouTube because I was putting so much time and effort into recording, and I used to, put a lot of effort into editing. And I actually had my videos a lot nicer. There was a lot of B-rolls and things like that. But I would put, 10 plus hours into a video of planning the content, recording it and filming it, and then editing it and posting it for it to be removed or demonetized. So it was just not feasible for me to really continue over on YouTube. And at some point I had to, kind of call it quits. I still post there once a month, and my podcasts are there as well. But content-wise, I kind of had to stop. And that's really where I went hard on Instagram. I was like, all right, I'm going to start sharing more content over on Instagram. I didn't expect it to be much different, but I thought since it's a fresher platform, maybe, just maybe, there's a bit more leeway with what you can talk about. Now, I want to put a disclaimer here and say, I never actually shared anything controversial on YouTube. Okay. I wasn't like those channels that are making conspiracy theories and sharing that. And it was nothing like that. I never spoke up on government issues, on anything at all. It was just genuinely facts that you would get from research articles on, cancer causing ingredients and things like that. And that was a red flag for them. So anyway, pretty much got shadow banned to the point of my channel being unsearchable on YouTube. So that's where I switched to Instagram. And on Instagram, and I should say my YouTube channel is Happy Holistic Life. It's still there if you guys want to search it and subscribe. I'd love that. But on YouTube, things, like I said, got so challenging, that I was like, okay, we're going to hop onto Instagram. I needed a sip of water there. I was choking. It's been a long day of recording, so my throat's getting dry. On Instagram, within the first year of posting, I mainly was just doing recipes, so I was okay. As I started to share holistic ideas and content similar to YouTube, I kept getting messages saying this goes against community guidelines. I wouldn't be allowed to put captions in my posts. I wasn't allowed to make comments on my post. People couldn't like the post, so on and so forth. So the same thing started happening on Instagram. And I kind of kept holding out, up until today. I'm still there. I'm still posting frequently. But it got to the point, and it's at the point now, where it's not even a nuisance anymore. It's exhausting, frustrating, and angering. And I'll explain what's been happening and where I'm pivoting, because this is such an important thing for me. I've poured my heart and soul into my business and into social media for this past decade almost, trying to genuinely and truly help support those who want to, have their bodies heal themselves naturally, those who want to lead a healthier lifestyle and reverse their chronic illness. I'm trying to give hope to people who were suffering with the same conditions that I was, which was psoriasis, IBS, eczema, PCOS, underactive thyroid, mold toxicity, topical steroid withdrawal syndrome, and so much more. And I had the solutions. I had the understanding because I had gone through it myself and I had found healing. And that's what I've been trying to share through the past decade on social media. And it was a passion of mine. It still is, but it's gotten to the point where I was like excited to share content for free to now getting to the point where it's actually almost exhausting and angering. And it happened again today where I spent about an hour recording and filming content posted on Instagram. It says that, for the safety of the community, this content cannot be shared. I have screenshots, which I shared over on Instagram. And those screenshots even got taken down because I was kind of tagging, like I didn't tag, but I had like the screenshot of the messages that I was receiving. And I was just saying like Instagram is banning this content, and they kept getting removed. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, I spent so much time putting energy into this. It's free content. It's not like I'm getting any kickback from it or anything. It's just genuinely for the community, and, you're being docked for it. What was so triggering for me, which I don't like to use that word often because I don't get triggered often, but here we are. What's really triggering for me was I scroll through my Explore page and you can see so many pretty much fully naked women and men. You can see a lot of, just shy of corn. You can see so much, horrible like violence, like in videos and everything else. They show so much stuff that I won't even let my children go near social media because of. And then here I'm trying to post harmless content, like a what I eat in a day video, which is what I was trying to post today. And it gets banned and deleted, and I'm posting and reposting and contacting Instagram and trying to get this video posted. And literally all it is what I eat in a day, and I have clips of food. And it's been like that forever. So my account is currently and has been shadow banned for the past over 4 years since COVID started, because I shared something during COVID on remedies for COVID. And I never talked about anything controversial. Again, it was just like, if you have COVID, you take these remedies kind of thing to support your immune system. And that post got banned. I got multiple warnings from Instagram saying like, this is your last chance or your account's permanently deleted and all this stuff. So I was kind of like, took my foot off the gas pedal with posting for a long time. I was like really overwhelmed, and I had worked hard to build a tiny little following there. And I was like, what's the point? So I got frustrated. That was during COVID. But since then, my account has been shadow banned, where the subscriber growth has been beyond slow. And they were saying that they're not showing my account, like in the messages and emails that I get, that my account will not be shown unless someone physically types in my name. But how will someone type in my account name if they don't know I exist? So my account, essentially just the growth was not there. And my posts that I would pour hours into with incredible information that's not really seen anywhere else are getting like 5 likes. So a lot of my followers were telling me they don't see any of my content. If they go on my page, it looks blank and things like that. So I've been shadow banned for so long. I got the warning emails, and still to this day, if I share anything besides like a motivational video, which Instagram likes, anything else that's health related, it gets removed. It gets deleted multiple times before I'm successful, or I get warnings, or it says this post is unlikable. Like, people can't actually like it. People are banned from commenting. So anyway, I know this is like a rant. It's probably not super exciting for you guys to listen to, but I want it to be open and honest, because I'm sure so many other practitioners and content creators are experiencing the same thing. And I also want to explain why you guys are not getting the same quality and quantity of content like I used to be sharing. I used to go so in depth with the content and talking about autoimmune and reversing it. And I was sharing incredible information. If you scroll through my Instagram to my way older posts, like a couple years ago, I'm not to like toot my own horn here, but it is incredible. You'll be like mind blown at the content I was sharing. And content with information that's like scientific and proven and all the things that you will never see on another person's page. Like I go beyond, above and beyond with my content, but that was taking me hours and hours to like put together and research for it potentially being removed or to get like 10 likes on it because Instagram notified me that it's not able to be interacted with. So it got to the point where I was like, it's not worth it. And yes, people have reached out and said, oh, I miss your old content. Why aren't you posting, things about autoimmune as much? Why aren't you doing this and that? And it was genuinely because Instagram won't let me and I'm too tired to have to fight with them. So after the same thing happened to me today, I was like, you know what? I'm filming recording a podcast on this. So everyone's really aware of what's actually happening out there. You don't have a voice. You can't have a voice if it's not the voice that they want you to have. And I look at what's happening online and I hate the direction that everything's turning to in our world. It's all mostly, a lot of people might not agree with me, but I think that everything that's out there, you get rewarded if it's evil, if it's impure, if it's hate. But as soon as something is natural, holistic, God-focused, anything like that, it's getting banned or removed. More than ever, I'm seeing like, again, so many, I'm scrolling and even I'm getting like icked out seeing how much like nudity and stuff is being put online and how it's being shown to everyone. But again, they're having a problem with like a healthy post on what you're eating in a day. So it just goes to show you what they're prioritizing. You can even see so much stuff on, I don't even want to bring it up actually in this podcast because I don't want to put any flags on this recording on socials. But you can just see a lot of not great things on social media, things that even I'm not okay seeing, but again, they're banning things that are more natural. So it's frustrating. So what am I doing about it? I have a few things. First of all, I do have a backup Instagram account because I have been threatened multiple times from Instagram that my account will be removed permanently if I don't adhere to community guidelines, but they never tell me where my post is going wrong, so I can't even adhere. So I do have a backup account. It's on my Instagram. I share it every so often. But besides that, I'm not even like, if my Instagram gets taken down, I'm like, ugh, it doesn't even matter at this point. Where I'm trying to deliver a lot more value is my newsletter. So I do have a newsletter. If you just go on holisticspring.com, scroll to the bottom of the homepage, you can subscribe to my newsletter. I do not spam. I'm not sending an email a day or every week. It's a couple times a month tops. And when you subscribe, you get my 2 free incredible guides on immunity and on like a 60-second gut hack that you can do. So you get those free guides, but I'm trying to build my email list. So if something does happen and my account's removed or I no longer can share content, I have a way to still reach people and share my knowledge, and my expertise. So that's one thing I'm doing. And the second thing is I do have a membership platform. I've built it over the past 5 years during COVID, when I got to the point where I was like, I have so much knowledge that's been scientifically proven and I need to get it out there, but I am not allowed to post it online. So I was like, if I own my own social platform, I can post what I want and not have the repercussions from the social media gods out there. So my membership platform, holisticspring.org, O-R-G, is where I post my censored content, tons of videos. I talk about cancer. I talk about all kinds of things that I cannot talk about anywhere else. And I'm so proud of it. And it's so packed with content because everyone and myself have been sharing over the past 5 years there. So you get literally an insane archive of incredible holistic knowledge and information and resources and videos and blogs and all kinds of stuff. It's so valuable. So that's also where I'm reaching out to my followers, and that's where I'm posting majority of my videos and blogs and stuff. I don't really post videos or blogs really anywhere else anymore, except for tiny little clips on Instagram. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about today. It's a shorter episode, but I've just been beyond overwhelmed. I've also decided I'm taking my business in a different direction, which I'll touch on shortly. And I'm going to be sharing more on my social media. There's some exciting changes that our family is going through, and that's all taking its course this month, April. So I will be sharing more of that on my socials when it's 100% ready to be shared. But for those who are interested, I'm actually taking my business in a different direction. So I started out Holistic Spring as a consulting business, I was like, I'm going to share my knowledge on reversing skin issues and gut issues naturally, and chronic illness and autoimmune. It's what I'm good at. It's what I do, what I love. And I love still to this day doing these one-on-one consults. I love being able to connect with incredible humans who have been suffering for so long and who are just so tired of not getting the support they need through mainstream medicine and are looking for an alternative. And I help them, feel seen and heard and give them the results that they're looking for. And I've been so proud of that. And that's kind of all I plan to do with Holistic Spring. It's kind of changed over the years as, times have changed, and I've kind of gotten to a point where I'm, expanding. Like I started a podcast, and I'm doing created my membership platform, and I created some beautiful ebook guides, and I created an incredible 3-step gut reset program, which I'm so proud of. So many things have kind of evolved over this past almost 10 years of this business. And I always did see myself doing one-on-one consults. I always saw that as like the biggest part of my business. And I kind of was like, I went back to school multiple times to, become a homeopath, and to, my plan was I started going back to school for iridology and bioenergetic intolerance elimination and all kinds of other things, because I want to continue to serve my one-on-one clients. But now, after having my son almost 2 years ago, he's just over 1.5 years, some really serious things happened. I actually developed a, quite intense condition from pregnancy, which I'll touch on shortly as well. But my son had a ton of health complications, both in utero, after, during the laboring process, after labor, and then even up until a few weeks ago. And I've touched on that on, excuse me, my social media and on YouTube. So I'm not going to dive into that and what he was going through. But long story short, my whole plan for my business kind of took a complete turn, a complete 180, because what I thought I was going to do, I was no longer able to do. I thought I was going to go, take a couple months off of work postpartum to heal and regulate, and then get back into doing one-on-one consults 100% of the time. But all of the energy that I've had to put into my son's health and into my own, because of some of the issues that I, developed after having him, ended up not giving me the time and space that I needed to do these one-on-one consults. So from the time I gave birth up until now, I've only been consulting at like 30% capacity, whereas before I was like 100%. So not only has income taken a huge dip, but because of my lack of time, I have not been able to get my services out there to these clients. I haven't been able to help more people, which was my goal all along. But I have to, kind of adapt to where I'm at now. And I'm saying, my son still has issues. My family needs me. Working one-on-one 100% of the time is just not feasible for me anymore. As each consult, to create the protocol and then to do, assess all the client's issues and then do the consult itself, it's about a 4-hour process each time. Anyway, I'm sharing this because there's a reason why I'm giving you this whole foundation of information. But essentially working one-on-one with clients, it just got to a point where, and it is at that point right now, where it's too exhausting for me. Even if I do one consult in a day, that's 4 hours of time for me to prep, plan, prepare, and then create the protocols and then do the consult. And feasibly, I never even have a 4-hour block anymore. So everything's always so broken up. I'm waking up extra early. I'm going to bed extra late. It's taken a bigger toll on my health. And it's gone to the point where I'm like, I just can't keep it up anymore. So my plan is, moving forward, I am going to be moving away from one-on-one consults. And I did share this on social media, but I as I move through the summer, I'm not really taking on many more clients. And the clients that I do have, a lot of them have quote unquote graduated. They've gotten the results that they wanted, and they've kind of moved into their maintenance phase. So, as that's happening, I'm not replacing those clients that have been dropping off. And my goal is to get to a point where I'm not really doing one-on-one consults anymore, and instead just putting all of my time and energy into my group program, which is the Gut Reset. I'm just continuing to build and make it epic and show up for the people in that program so I can support everyone at the same time rather than just one at a time. So doing group calls and master classes and things where it's showing up and everyone can benefit. Again, instead of just calling each person individually, which has become too exhausting for me at this stage in my life. So that's where I'm pivoting my actual Holistic Spring business. There will be a point where I'm not going to be doing many consults anymore. And it's just going to be more focused on the group program as my children are at such a young age. I'm still homeschooling. I have, so many things I'm taking care of. It's just getting to a point where I need to be present for them, which means I have to take time away from work. And the only way to do that is to start dropping more clients and instead just putting all of my time into something that I can help everybody at the same time with. So that's what I wanted to share on what I'm doing with that. And so naturally, I'm building up my newsletter and my email list and my membership platform so I can reach everybody at the same time and not have to worry about who's seeing my content on Instagram. Am I notifying everybody enough on Instagram of content that's come out, of videos I've just created, and so on and so forth, because it's become so exhausting to do that, knowing that 90% of my content is not even being shown to followers or is being deleted by Instagram. Even the post number, by the way, on Instagram, where it shows you like Marla's created, like at the top of my profile, like say 1,600 posts, I'll wake up one morning and it goes down from like 1,600 to 1,500. So they've deleted like 100 posts and they don't even tell you which ones they've removed. So I can't even go back and be like, oh no, what did they remove? Can I repost it or something? I lose that content permanently. So it's gotten to the point where Instagram is so unreliable. And I think as things continue to move in the direction of, at least in Canada, of the government banning everything, it's just going to be harder and harder to share health information and to help people heal, because it's not feasible anymore on those platforms. So anyway, that's where newsletters come in, where I can contact people. That's where my membership platform or like the gut reset comes in, is I can still have my people who want to still stay in touch and, still get the help and support from me without having to worry about socials. So last thing is I want to touch on my health and share a little bit about that. So when I was pregnant with my fourth son, excuse me. So I'm actually going to be like really honest here. It's not something I want to talk about much, but it's a big part of my life. And I always have been very open and honest with everything, especially on my mom channel, Marla E Show. That channel, I've shared so much stuff about my health and my life there and motherhood. I'm very open. I don't think there's a point in like keeping stuff in. So anyway, when I was pregnant with my son, I started to get quite severe pain, like lower abdominal and pelvic pain. It kept me sitting most of the time. I would be in tears most of my pregnancy from excruciating pain, and they couldn't really tell what was happening until after I gave birth, because there's not much that they could have done test-wise, especially being pregnant. So anyway, the thing is it was my fourth pregnancy. All of my children were 9 pounds, huge babies. I'm such a small person. I'm like 5'4". I'm tiny, small torso. So it was just a lot of weight and pressure. The labors were always beyond excruciating and traumatic, because the way that my pelvis was shaped and the baby's heads, like literally they would have to physically break my tailbone each time to get the baby out. And so anyways, I had a lot of trauma during labor and hours, like usually 4+ hours of pushing before baby would actually come out. Whereas most women go through about 15 minutes of pushing, which is the most painful part of labor. And then the baby's out. So I would be going through it for like 4 hours. So anyway, after I gave birth, I noticed that my bleeding wasn't stopping. And this was like, usually it takes a couple weeks, but this was months postpartum. My bleeding was still going and going. And I'm already extremely anemic. And I have very, very, very low iron my whole life. And it was something that's very hard for me to bring up, like increase my levels in. So it was already like I was fainting. I was very weak, very dizzy. And then on top of that, now I'm just continuously losing blood. And it was a substantial amount of blood. So I wouldn't call it a hemorrhage, but it was just shy of that. Massive amounts of blood loss. And I ended up going to the doctors. I was literally like, I have like cervical or ovarian cancer. Like that's what I thought, because that's how much blood and how long it was happening for. It actually took me over 6 months to see a doctor and to get an ultrasound, which was kind of crazy considering how much blood I was losing. They put me on the emergency list and it still took that long. And I was at the point where I was not able to go to emergency and get anything done because I had a baby who had major health issues of his own and I couldn't leave him that long. And anyway, so I was waiting for this appointment and I got an ultrasound done and they did confirm that I have a condition which is called pelvic congestion syndrome. Typically, it's common if you have multiple pregnancies, especially if the child is larger. So if there's more like trauma during labor, especially. It's essentially when the veins, when you're pregnant, your veins expand to allow more blood flow and circulation through like the pelvis and like the placenta and all of that. But usually those veins will shrink. Estrogen, elevation in estrogen is what causes those veins to enlarge. So usually as you start to decrease your estrogen levels postpartum, the veins shrink and everything goes back to normal and you have a normal blood flow in that area. Well, with pelvic congestion syndrome, the veins stay enlarged and you end up with having high blood flow to that area, high levels of blood, and that's what causes pain. So, and bleeding and all kinds of things. So I was having not just this bleeding constantly and a severe amount, but I was also, and still do, have severe pain. So it's like, I can't describe it. It's like a period pain times 10, but with like a very strong heaviness. Anyone who's given birth will know that feeling when you have like a ton of heaviness in your pelvis, like postpartum, those first couple hours postpartum, where you feel so tender and like everything's going to fall out. That's that feeling. It is excruciating and it gets flared up anytime I stand, especially for more than like 20 minutes. Anytime I lift anything heavy, like my baby, and anytime I'm, walking too long, stressed out, ovulating, so on and so forth. So it's gotten to the point, and I'm, again, slightly uncomfortable sharing this, but I'm going to do it anyway so I can help anyone else who's going through it. But up recently, just baking for Easter, I started bleeding like extremely heavy again, even big clots and stuff. And you have to live in sweatpants and like, you're just like, you can't leave the house much because the amount that you're bleeding, you have to constantly be swapping pads. So I'm sorry I'm sharing this if it's making anyone uncomfortable, but I want to be really honest because it's a real condition. And just like I shared all of the real and the raw with my psoriasis and my IBS and all the other things, why not share this as well? It is something that you can manage, but it's been hard for me to manage because of my lifestyle. Having a baby who never sits. I see other parents and they hold their child, like if they're at a restaurant or they're somewhere and the child would just sit on their lap. My son has never been like that. He will not sit on my lap. He will not fall asleep on me ever. He has to be on the go, moving, and you have to be chasing him. So I just don't ever get to sit. Even if I'm not working, if I try to just put my bum on a couch and put my feet up, it's not possible unless someone's there to take the baby for me. So that's been really tough because I've been at the point where I've been bleeding 99% of the time. I have barely been able to work out, especially like I used to. There were a few months there where my son was a little bit easier to care for. And so I did have a bit more time to rest, and that was allowing me to heal a little bit. But this condition is a lifelong condition. And if you aggravate yourself, if you're standing too much, if you push yourself, it reactivates. And it takes weeks, at least for me, for my body to heal, where I'm like heavy bleeding for weeks. And it's quite intense. Like sometimes when I am going through it, I honestly think I'm hemorrhaging. It's that much blood. So you can imagine the anemia that I have, just losing that much iron, and I can't bring my levels up. And having psoriasis and autoimmune, I can't get an iron transfusion because it flares up and activates my autoimmune. So I'm kind of in this like, well, I need help, but I can't help myself kind of situation. And I'm just sharing this because this has been a big decision for our family. And like I said, we have some news to share in April, where we're kind of like we made an exciting change in our life, and I'm excited about it, but, and I'll share that soon. But that was one of the things where it was like, something needs to change because I just can't continue to be working this hard and taking care of kids and doing all the things when my body is falling apart and I'm like in extreme pain. Like extreme pain. Like I'll leave the house to go to the grocery store and I have a hot water bag strapped to my belly and I look like I'm carrying like a huge chubby belly, but I'm like, I don't even care. Like I'm in that much pain. So, I decided, I got to make changes. I'm going to do less consults. I'm going to just have to take my foot off the gas, and that's what my body needs right now. And I'm hoping that I can get more healing and try to do things naturally to shrink the veins a little bit, regulate my hormones a little bit more and things like that. But this is a lifelong condition, just like autoimmune and everything else, is if things can flare up if you're not taking care of yourself. And I've been at the point where the blood loss has been so bad and for so long, and it doesn't stop, that there's some days where I'm like, if I stand up, I'm fainting, like for sure. Like that's how low my iron has gotten. And I eat grass-fed meats and I do all the things, but my body type is just hard to absorb and utilize that iron and build up those levels. And because I'm losing so much, even if I am building up my levels, it's just gone again. So I want to be honest and open about that too. That was a really big reason for us to make the change that we did. And we had to take a leap of faith, but I'm really excited about this change that we're making. And I'm excited to see what happens over the next couple months, over the next year. But I do want to thank you all for your continued support on everything that I've done, you know, social media and my YouTube channel and my business and podcast and everything else. I appreciate each and every one of you always showing up for me. And I just so grateful for all of you. And I see every interaction, every like and comment, sorry, on my posts. And I'm not crying. It sounds like I am. I'm just, my throat is so dry from doing so many episodes and stuff that I'm choking. But anyway, I'll wrap this up shortly. But yeah, I just wanted to say I see every single interaction, every YouTube comment. Even if I don't get back to everybody, I see it all. And I'm so grateful for the continued love and support. I see every purchase you guys make, with whether it's my ebooks, my membership, anything at all. I see it all and I'm beyond grateful. So thank you so much, not only for all the support, but also listening to this podcast. If you've made it to the end, thank you for listening to me babble on. I'm so grateful, and I hope you have a beautiful day or night wherever you are listening from. And I will talk to you guys in the next episode, number 41. Woo! Have a great day. Bye.